June 13, 2025, Israel launched a major attack on Iranian targets, including nuclear sites, military facilities, and homes of top officials as part of Operation Rising Lion. This attack was Israel's effort to halt Iran's nuclear weapons development amid months of rising tensions. The situation is quickly escalating toward a full-scale war, with regional stability hanging in the balance. The hostility between Iran and Israel began in 1979 after Iran's Islamic Revolution, leading to a break in relations. Since then, Iran has consistently backed groups like Hezbollah and Hamas, while Israel has responded with military actions. One major incident was October 7, 2023, when Hamas launched a deadly attack in southern Israel, triggering a brutal Israeli retaliation that killed over 41,600 people. In 2024, Iran launched 300 drones and missiles at Israel in response to an Israeli airstrike that killed a senior IRGC commander. Later that year, on October 1, 2024, Iran fired 200 missiles at Israel after Israeli airstrikes killed Lebanese civilians and Hezbollah members. These strikes have led to increased tensions with both nations on the brink of all-out war. So, who supports Iran in this conflict? And who stands with Israel? In today's video, we explore the top 10 countries that have supported Iran against Israel. Like, subscribe, and comment below to share your opinions on which side you believe should prevail in this escalating crisis. Let's take a closer look at the global alliances in the 2025 Iran-Israel conflict. Number 10. Venezuela. Venezuela has long supported Iran in its regional conflict with Israel, driven by both anti-Western sentiments and shared ideological goals. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro views Iran as an ally in the fight against imperialism, particularly that of the United States and its allies. Venezuela has deepened its relationship with Iran since 2001, when the two countries began cooperating on military and economic projects, particularly in the areas of oil and technology. Venezuela's anti-Israel stance is also linked to its unwavering support for Palestine. Maduro has frequently expressed his opposition to Israeli military actions in Gaza and the broader Palestinian territories, which he views as part of a broader Western agenda to maintain control over the region. Venezuela has used its voice in international forums, including the United Nations, to denounce Israel's actions and advocate for Palestinian self-determination. In 2025, Venezuela continues to support Iran in the face of Israeli military action, seeing the Iran-Israel conflict as an opportunity to challenge Western dominance in the region. The emotional aspect of this alliance is rooted in shared resistance against global powers that Venezuela and Iran perceive as seeking to control sovereign nations. Venezuela's position as a staunch critic of U.S. policies only strengthens its commitment to Iran and opposition to Israel. Number 9. Turkey. Turkey is one of Iran's most significant allies in the ongoing conflict with Israel, despite both countries' historical tension with each other. Over the years, Turkey's relationship with Israel has deteriorated, and in recent years, Turkey has sought to distance itself from Western policies while strengthening ties with Iran. Under President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, Turkey has increasingly supported Iran's resistance to Israeli influence and the West. Turkey's support for Iran is grounded in a shared opposition to U.S. military presence in the Middle East and the Israeli occupation of Palestinian territories. Turkey views Israel's actions in Palestine as unjust, and this has led to strong condemnation of Israeli military strikes and the treatment of Palestinians. Turkey has consistently voted in favor of UN resolutions that criticize Israel and support Palestinian statehood. In 2025, Turkey's support for Iran against Israel is not only a reflection of ideological alignment, but also a strategic calculation. As a member of NATO, Turkey has become increasingly disillusioned with Western powers, particularly after the 2016 coup attempt, which many in Turkey believe was supported by external actors. In this context, Turkey's partnership with Iran offers a counterbalance to Western and Israeli hegemony in the Middle East. Number 8. Algeria. Algeria has supported Iran against Israel due to historical and ideological reasons. Algeria's revolutionary past, marked by its fight for independence from French colonial rule, has made it deeply sympathetic to countries that resist Western and Israeli influence. Algeria, along with other North African nations, views Israel's actions in Palestine as a direct attack on Arab and Muslim sovereignty. In the 2025 conflict, Algeria has expressed its strong backing for Iran, both diplomatically and morally. While not directly involved in military action, Algeria has reaffirmed its opposition to U.S. and Israeli policies in the Middle East. The Algerian government has consistently condemned Israel's military actions against Palestinians and has called for international solidarity with Iran in its nuclear pursuits. Emotionally, Algeria's support for Iran is rooted in the shared struggle against imperialism and a commitment to resisting Western intervention in the Middle East. As a former revolutionary state, Algeria has been vocal in supporting Iran's sovereignty, especially as it faces international pressure over its nuclear program. In 2025, Algeria's stance is clear. It will continue to stand with Iran in its fight against Israel and the broader Western geopolitical agenda. Number 7. Sudan. Sudan has long been sympathetic to Iran's stance against Israel, primarily due to shared anti-Western sentiments and regional alliances. In 2020, Sudan made headlines when it agreed to normalize relations with Israel, but the transition back to a military-led government in 2021 led to a renewed alignment with Iran, especially given Sudan's historical ties to Iran. Sudan has provided political and military support to Iran in various conflicts, particularly in the Red Sea and Horn of Africa regions. In 2025, Sudan's backing for Iran is a reflection of its commitment to resisting U.S. and Israeli dominance in the Middle East and Africa. Sudan has been a supporter of the Palestinian cause, and its government has expressed ongoing criticism of Israel's military actions against Palestinians. Emotionally, Sudan's support for Iran is tied to a shared desire to counter Israeli influence and protect Arab and Muslim interests in the region. Sudan views Israel's influence in Africa, particularly in its military agreements with neighboring countries like Ethiopia, as a threat to Sudanese sovereignty. With tensions in the Middle East growing, Sudan continues to view Iran as an ally in its struggle against external foreign interference. Number 6. North Korea. North Korea has consistently supported Iran in its standoff with Israel, largely due to their shared opposition to Western dominance and U.S. imperialism. North Korea's military alliance with Iran dates back several years, with the two nations cooperating on missile development and nuclear technology. North Korea's support for Iran stems from its desire to counterbalance U.S. power and Israel's military presence in the Middle East, both of which are viewed by North Korean leadership as existential threats to their regimes. In 2025, North Korea stands in solidarity with Iran, particularly due to the shared ideological and military interests between the two nations. North Korea has long been critical of Israeli military actions in Palestine and has used its international platform to denounce Israel's aggression. North Korea's leadership views Iran's defiance of Western-led sanctions and its nuclear ambitions as a model of resistance that can inspire other nations, particularly those who seek sovereignty free from U.S. and Israeli influence. Emotionally, North Korea's support for Iran is motivated by a sense of solidarity and resistance, as both nations are often isolated and attacked by the international community. North Korea's own nuclear weapons program and opposition to Western interference are directly aligned with Iran's actions, making the two countries key allies in the broader battle against global hegemony. Number 5. Lebanon. Particularly through the militant group, Hezbollah is another strong supporter of Iran against Israel. Hezbollah, which is backed by Iran, has played a key role in the Israeli-Lebanese conflicts and has served as a proxy for Iran in its fight against Israeli military presence in the region. Hezbollah's military operations and attacks against Israeli forces have been directly supported by Iran in terms of financing, training, and weaponry. In 2025, Lebanon continues to provide moral and tactical support to Iran, with Hezbollah's influence in Lebanon heavily aligned with Iran's goals. The group has operated as an Iranian proxy, aiming to disrupt Israeli operations in the region and deter Israeli airstrikes. The relationship between Hezbollah and Iran is one of the strongest alliances in the Middle East, with Iran providing advanced weaponry and military expertise. Emotionally, Lebanon's support for Iran is deeply connected to the historical struggle against Israel, and Hezbollah views its fight as just and necessary. The Lebanese government, although more cautious, has tolerated Hezbollah's actions due to the group's military dominance within Lebanon. In 2025, Lebanon's alignment with Iran remains crucial for Hezbollah's operations and the broader resistance against Israeli occupation and aggression. Number 4. Yemen. Yemen is another significant supporter of Iran in the fight against Israel. Iran has provided military aid, training, and financial resources to the Houthi rebels in Yemen, enabling them to resist Saudi-led coalition forces and Israeli influence in the region. The Houthi movement, which controls much of northern Yemen, has received significant support from Iran, both in terms of weaponry and military guidance. In the 2025 conflict, Yemen stands in solidarity with Iran, viewing Israel as a threat to regional stability and its own sovereignty. Yemen's position is also a reflection of its desire to counter Saudi Arabia's influence, as Saudi Arabia is a key ally of Israel in the region. Yemen's support for Iran is seen as a direct challenge to Saudi and Israeli interests in the region. Emotionally, Yemen's backing of Iran is deeply connected to its fight for independence from foreign powers, including Saudi Arabia and Israel. The Yemen conflict has been marked by intense human suffering, and Iran's support has helped Yemen resist foreign intervention. In 2025, Yemen remains aligned with Iran as it continues to oppose Israeli dominance and support regional resistance movements. Number 3, Pakistan. Pakistan has long maintained close ties with Iran, and its support for Iran in the 2025 Israel-Iran conflict is driven by both geopolitical and ideological factors. As a nuclear-armed nation with a significant Shia Muslim population, Pakistan shares religious and cultural connections with Iran, which have strengthened their strategic alliance. The two countries have historically cooperated on issues related to security, energy, and military matters. Pakistan has been particularly concerned with U.S. influence in the Middle East, and its support for Iran is a way of counterbalancing the West's growing dominance in the region. Iran has been a key partner in Pakistan's defense and economic interests, particularly in areas related to energy and trade. Despite Pakistan's alliance with the U.S. in the war on terror, its growing ties with Iran show a clear shift toward a more independent foreign policy. Emotionally, Pakistan's support for Iran is also rooted in the shared desire to resist Western imperialism. Both countries view Israeli military actions in Palestine and its growing influence in the Arab world as a direct threat to Islamic sovereignty. In 2025, Pakistan continues to support Iran against Israel, driven by a combination of shared interests, religious solidarity, and national security concerns in the face of regional instability. Number 2, China. China is one of Iran's key supporters in the ongoing conflict, providing economic, military, and diplomatic support. China's interest in Iran is primarily driven by its economic and strategic considerations, particularly in relation to oil supplies and energy resources. Iran is one of China's largest oil suppliers, and the two countries have strengthened their trade ties through the Belt and Road Initiative. In 2025, China remains an ardent backer of Iran, opposing U.S. sanctions that have targeted Iran's economy and nuclear program. China's military cooperation with Iran has included the sale of advanced missile systems and cyber warfare technologies. This cooperation is viewed by China as part of its broader strategy to counterbalance U.S. influence in the Middle East and protect its energy interests. Emotionally, China shares a historical mistrust of Western interventionism, and its support for Iran is often framed as solidarity with a nation that has faced intense pressure and international isolation. The Chinese government has consistently vetoed UN Security Council resolutions aimed at further sanctioning Iran, asserting that such actions are violations of Iran's sovereignty. As a growing superpower, China views Iran as a critical partner in its global ambitions and continues to stand by Tehran despite the growing tensions in the region. Number 1, Russia. Russia has long been one of Iran's strongest allies, with deep military, economic, and diplomatic ties. The two nations share a mutual interest in countering U.S. influence and maintaining their sovereignty against Western powers. Russia's military support for Iran has included the sale of advanced weapons systems and nuclear technology, with the S-300 missile defense system being one of the most notable contributions. In the 2025 conflict, Russia has stood firm in supporting Iran's right to self-defense. Russia's military collaboration with Iran includes joint military drills, and the country has repeatedly vetoed UN Security Council resolutions that seek to impose further sanctions on Tehran. Emotionally, Russia sees Iran as a crucial partner in maintaining regional influence and stability, particularly in the Middle East, where it also faces increasing U.S. pressure. Russia's opposition to Israeli airstrikes in Syria, which are often aimed at Iranian military facilities, has further solidified its alliance with Iran. Russia's support for Iran is not just geopolitical, but also stems from a shared desire to resist Western hegemony. By 2025, Russia remains one of Iran's most reliable allies in the face of Israeli and Western opposition, ensuring that Iran is not diplomatically isolated. These countries, driven by strategic interests, ideological solidarity, and regional alliances, have firmly aligned themselves with Iran against Israel in the escalating 2025 conflict. Their support reflects the global power struggles at play. Like, comment, and subscribe for more insights into global geopolitical tensions. See you next time.